All right, everybody, Bryce here, coming at you with a quick market update. And it's been quite choppy here in the markets, ranging between $30,000 and $40,000 per Bitcoin, and for Ethereum, it's been ranging between, really $2,000 and $3,000 over the course of the last couple of weeks. And I think that within the next 24 hours, we're going to see a serious spike in volatility. So, if you were to take a directionally neutral position and just go long volatility, I think that's going to be the play. It's been in this chop environment. It has been, in a sense, range bound, right? And that means that the volatility has been kind of dying ever since that really big crash. So low volatility environments like we've been in for the past about 2 weeks tend to beget high volatility environments. So on the exit from this range, it could be a bumpy ride, right? And so what am I expecting? I'm definitely expecting a short squeeze. And so I think that a lot of people, a lot of funds, a lot of individuals really piled on heavy on the short side on the break below $40,000. So I think that it would be insane if we didn't have a sharp spike above $40,000. How long would it last before everybody, kind of sold and took that opportunity to sell? Not sure. But I do think that in the near term, the risk, or essentially the risk to the downside is smaller, I think, than to the upside. I think that we're going to see a really sharp pop coming out of this short little consolidation that we're seeing. And I think also, fundamentally strong altcoins will rise harder. Although what we're seeing right now, I gave a webinar the other day on network DeFi coins versus application DeFi coins. And so far, what we're still seeing is the network layer is performing stronger than the application layer, in the same way that during corrections, value stocks tend to outperform growth stocks, right? When the market is kind of contracting and the growth sort of slows down, long-term investors tend to continue to build positions in their long-term value plays, whereas when they see the growth stop, they say, hey, we're going to back off on investing in growth until that starts to show signs of growth again. So if you guys didn't see that webinar, no worries. You guys can subscribe to our model portfolio for just $1. You check it out for just $1. You hit that orange button below, and we've got those fundamentally strong network layer coins in the model portfolio, and we've been doing lots of analysis on it. So go ahead, hit that orange button to subscribe. But other than that, guys, what are some of the main themes that are unfolding in the market that are kind of contributing to the headwinds, right? And so inflation. So everybody kind of thinks inflation is really good for risk assets, right? So Bitcoin being a risk on asset, and generally a bellwether of inflation. People are, as inflation rises, the Federal Reserve is going to taper interest rates. And what that means is that they're going to slowly start to increase interest rates, which applies pressure downwards on stocks and which applies downward pressure on stocks, upward pressure on bonds. But as they start to raise rates, is it going to be enough to really outpace inflation? As you guys saw, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, hit 5%. So it's showing that inflation's ticking up at 5% right now, which is wild to think. It's the highest it's been since really the Great Recession. And then some other metrics of inflation are as high as they've been since the 90s, since Paul Volcker was around, which is crazy to think about. So inflation is here. And while in the long tail of things, it generally signals that asset prices are increasing, in the midterm, there's always that risk. Like the hotter inflation runs, the more likely we are to get an increase in rates. In that short term, like that increase in rate will cause short-term drawdowns in crypto and in stocks as people try and stave off that. And so It's been a really, really interesting environment. But again, we're on top of it every day, and we're watching the markets and we're trading the markets. So if you guys aren't plugged into a good source of information here for crypto, check us out. And again, you guys can subscribe for just $1. And yeah, I think it's going to be a ton of fun. I mean, the markets, even you guys saw El Salvador, it really launched Bitcoin as a legal currency. That law just got passed. And so then Paraguay and Argentina and Uruguay and several other politicians from several other Latin American countries also went out and signaled that they are pro-Bitcoin. And we actually even had Ted Cruz signal that he is very pro-Bitcoin. He had like a CNBC interview where he was talking about it. And there's starting to be U.S. senators and U.S. politicians that are coming out pro-Bitcoin. It's starting to become a very politicized aspect. So I think that is another very interesting play to see kind of like how politicians craft their their pitches essentially to their base. And what we're seeing is that folks on the right tend to support Bitcoin and initiatives and innovation there, and then folks on the left, politicians on the left, have been less welcoming. Like we saw Elizabeth Warren, for instance, just 2 days ago, naysay cryptocurrency, and she's a senator on the left. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. Either way, I'm long, right? And I'm here for the long term. I'm buying, and I think that these are very attractive prices. And so with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Crypt Nation Market Update.